Welcome to my video woodworking plan for this headboard for a queen size bed. It's meant to complement the video that I did on this bed, and I will link to that one in case that's something you're interested in. But specifically for this video, we're going to work on this headboard. Now this headboard has some depth to it. It has shelves on both sides, and the most interesting feature is that this panel right here actually slides down and there's a hidden latch underneath and gives you two shelves as a hidden compartment to your bed. This is not a general build video. I will link to that general build video of me making this bed, and you might want to watch that before trying this out. But this video is specifically for those people who would like to build alongside me. I will provide the details of the materials, the process, and the tools that you'll need to make this. It'll be chaptered and bookmarked so you can skip ahead and go back, and you can certainly freeze at any point to get some of the details specific that you'll need to build alongside me. I thought this was a fun and interesting project. I hope you enjoy building alongside me as well, and that this is helpful for you. If you have any feedback for me, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I hope to make several of these woodworking plan videos. This one is a little more advanced. We'll spread them across the skill levels. But if I know what works and what doesn't, I'll be able to improve as I go. And hopefully I've given you enough detail that you'll have everything you need to make something just like this with me. Let's start with the materials. I provide a lengthy discussion of the build material choices in the build video for the bed. You're welcome to refer to that video if you like, but I think the choice for the headboard is much simpler. The material you choose should match the bed itself. That choice is of course up to you. In my build video I will be using maple. I will be using rough cut maple that I milled down, but it is also possible to select dimensional boards and use them for this build. The only possible exception to that rule is that the panels will be 1/2 inch material, and I will be book matching them from a thicker rough cut material. You'll either have to find 1/2 inch material or find a way to mill your own wood. The headboard is divided into 3 sections, a front, a middle, and a back. Because of this, I've also divided the material list into 3 sections, all of which you can see here. I leave the milling and the sizing up to you. We will start the plan assuming you've got everything cut down to these dimensions. I know it's not exciting, but the first step in this process is to sand all of the hardwood pieces that you've cut. I recommend starting at 80 grit, going to 120, 180, and then 220. The back layer is connected together using pocket screws. For each of the 1x4 pieces labeled I, determine which side you'd like to be the back side. Then using a pocket jig, drill 2 holes into each of those back sides on each end of the board. I use this larger pocket jig, but a handheld jig is also fine. Just make sure you put 2 holes into the ends. For the back style pieces, part H, determine which side you want to be front and back and which side you want to be top and bottom. From the bottom of each style, measure up 10 inches, 13.5 inches, 20 inches, and 23.5 inches, and place marks. Use 2 clamps at each joint when screwing the pocket screws together. After assembling the frame, do another pass on sanding to make sure all the joints are flush. Then set the back assembly aside. Set your dado blade up on your table saw to cut a 3/4 inch groove and set its height to 1/4 inch. Set your table saw fence to 10 1/4 inch from the inside of the blade. Cut a dado into both vertical support pieces E. Move your fence back to 21 inches from the inside of the blade and cut another dado in both boards. Adjust your fence to 15 3/4 inch from the inside of the dado blade. Keep the height at 1/4 inch. Then cut dados from each end of pieces D, the top and bottom shelves. The middle shelves behind the hidden door require a cutout to accommodate a handle on that hidden door. The easiest way to create these cutouts is with a template. You have a few options for creating the template. You can use the diagram above to create your own. The digital supplement file that comes with this plan and can be purchased from my Etsy store also has the vector image for this template. You can use that to create a paper template, Or if you have a laser or CNC machine, you can create your own template. I also make the template that you see in these videos available on my Etsy store if you'd like to purchase it. Mark the center of the two middle shelves. This should be 1 foot, 3 1/4 inches from either edge, and extend that marking with a quick square. Attach your template for routing and take it to a router table or hand router and route out that. I chose to apply finish to the back and middle sections before doing the assembly of the middle section. This step can wait until later when you're also finishing the front section. The choice of finish is a personal one and can be left up to you. In this case, I used General Finishes Java Gel Stain and followed that up with 2 coats of clear polyurethane in a glossy finish. Be careful not to get any finish into the dado cuts. Try fit the assembly first to make sure that all the pieces fit inside of their dados. Use glue and clamps first to attach the middle shelves to the vertical supports and then to attach that assembly into the top and bottom shelves. Use square clamp supports to make sure that your angles are exactly 90 degrees. Also be sure to check that your entire assembly is not twisting under the pressure of the clamps and that everything's in a plane. This diagram shows my design for the hidden latch and the hidden door handle. Like the middle shelf cutout template, you have a few options for getting this latch. The first is to use this diagram to create your own template. The second is to use the digital vector file that's found in the digital supplement for this video. If you'd like the added convenience at a little bit more cost, you can also buy a template from me from my Etsy store and I will ship it to you. The latch is attached loosely using 1/4 inch in diameter and 1/2 inch in length machine screws that fit into these insert nuts. Drill holes at the locations marked above at the bottom face of the bottom shelf. 5/16 inch diameter holes and do not penetrate all the way through the board. The inserts are then threaded in place into the holes. Use a small amount of Loctite on the ends of the machine bolts and use a washer to attach the latch to the board. In the end, the latch should be secure against the bottom of the board, but also move freely. The front layer has 3 front panels done in a shaker style. To get a book-matched look, I resaw a 6/4 board, you could also use 8/4 in this process, in half. This board's width needs to be just greater than half the width of the panel. For the 2 narrower panels, I was able to glue them up before planing them down. I took them to their final 1/2 inch thickness after the glue had dried using my thickness planer. The middle hidden door panel, however, was too wide for my thickness planer, and I had to plane down the individual pieces and then glue those up. Once the glue up and thickness planing is complete, we can cut them to their final size. Take careful note that the size of these panels is 1/2 of an inch larger than the opening size. The hidden door panel is also taller than the 2 on the sides because it has to reach to the bottom of its rail. Remove your wood cutting saw from the table saw and insert your dado blade at 1/4 of an inch in width. Set the height of the blade to 1/4 inch and set the fence 1/4 of an inch away from the blade. Carefully rabbet out the border on all 4 sides of the panel boards. The middle long panel board does not need a rabbet on one of its short sides. A large section of the bottom rail needs to be routed out in order to accommodate the sliding hidden door. Restack your dado from the 1/4 inch to its full width. Set the fence 14 1/4 inches from the inside of the blade. Then cut a dado groove from each end. Move your fence further away and slowly take out cuts to remove all the material between your 2 dado cuts. For safety, every 8 passes or so, leave a finger that will extend all the way to the table saw top. Any fingers can be cut out using an oscillating tool or handsaw. Finally, hand plane or sand down to create an even surface. Center grooves need to be cut into the edges indicated in the diagram. Reset your dado blade to a 1/4 inch width and set its height to 1/4 of an inch. Set the fence to 1/4 of an inch away from the inside of the blade. Cut the groove into all of the indicated edges. Do not cut the groove for the headboard leg at this time. 1/4 inch tongues need to be cut into the edges indicated by the green lines in the diagram. Place a fence protector up against your fence and bring that to the edge of the dado blade. Cut the tongue out on all indicated edges by cutting from both sides of the board. Raise your dado blade to 3/4 inch in height and cut the gaps from the ends indicated on the top and bottom rails, parts B. The 1/4 inch hidden dado on the 2 leg pieces is cut using a router table rather than the table saw. Mark 1 foot 4.5 inches from the bottom of the leg on the edge being cut, then transfer that mark with a quick square down the back side of the leg. Begin the plunge cut approximately 1/2 inch from the edge of the top of the leg and continue down until the mark reaches the spindle. Repeat this process for both legs. Try fit all of the pieces to make sure that everything will fit properly. Then, using glue and clamps, assemble the entire front layer together. Connect the leg pieces last and don't apply any glue to the panels. The hidden door center panel does not need to be included in the assembly at this time. Chain your clamps together as shown here if you don't have any that will span the entire width. Sand the jointed edges to make sure that they are all flush. Then apply your finish in the same manner that you did in step 2-4. If you're building this plan in conjunction with the bed plan that it was designed with, add wood insert nuts to allow for attachment to the base cabinet of the bed. Use blue painter's tape on a 5/16 inch drill bit to indicate the depth of the wood inserts. Drill holes were indicated in the diagram. Dry fit the 3 layers by layering them on top of each other. Be sure to include the hidden door in your dry fit to make sure that it slides smoothly in its opening. I unfortunately don't have any video for this step because I forgot to do it when I was recording. Determine the adjustable heights that you would prefer for your shelves, then drill holes using a shelf peg hole jig to represent those heights. Add holes on the front and back stiles, and 2 sets of holes on the vertical supports in the middle. The middle layer is attached to the front layer using pocket screws. Drill the pocket holes at the location marked by the red circles in the diagram. Make sure that you are drilling those holes into the underside of the shelves, and the hole direction faces the front. Position the middle layer against the front layer and clamp it down in place temporarily. While clamped down, secure it permanently using the pocket screws. Align the back layer with the middle layer and face it so that the finished edge is facing towards the middle layer. Clamp it in place and then use a countersink bit to drill holes into the shelf sections. Use 2-inch construction screws to attach it permanently. On the back side of the hidden door towards the top, locate the middle and attach the handle approximately 1/4 inch down from the top edge using 5/8 inch hinge screws. The headboard is designed to attach permanently to a wall using 2.5 inch cabinet screws through the back rails in the hidden section of the headboard. I hope you found the detail level in this video plan and perhaps the plan making the bed to be something that was helpful to you. If you have comments on the presentation or format, please leave them in the comment section of this video below. If you do decide to make the plans here for the bed or the headboard, I'd love to see what you've done. Just tag me at my Instagram account at Alpine Trail Studio. Have fun and enjoy making some sawdust.